Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. A little bit of an impromptu West Ham Monday. Look, you can see it at the top of the screen because I'm at school. I'm at school on Wednesday. It's inset day, so none of you say why aren't you at school? It's inset day today. So it's West Ham Monday, not West Ham Wednesday. James has joined me. You all right?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Bit nervous about tonight's game, but yeah, I'm all good, man.
Yeah. So if any of you guys want to appear on the show, the link is in the chat. I will get you on. Oh, shut up, Russ. Why aren't you at school? I've just told you why I'm not at school. Right. We've got one guest here. West Ham Online. You okay? Oh,
His
you're on
mic's
mute.
off.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to tonight's game. I think we're going to get the win, if I'm honest.
Yeah, hopefully. So what I've put in the title is about Benrahma, and I put is Moyes convinced with Benrahma. So people in the chat, either come on or put your thoughts in the chat. James, I'm gonna start with you, so you can either come on, guys, in the chat, or just put it in the chat. James, I'm gonna start with you. Do you think that Moyes is convinced with Benrahma?
No, not a chance, mate. I think I don't understand what the problem is with Benrahma and Moyes. If I'm honest, I think Moyes is a bit stubborn with that. I think Benrahma's a great player. I think he carries the ball well, beats a player, brings other people into play. Got an eye for a pass, and the amount of assists he has got, I believe he's got 4 assists at minute. He could easily have 10 assists if Antonio would have had his shooting boots on at Palace. So
yeah, exactly.
It's one of them ones, really. I just don't understand it, really. I don't think he's going to start tonight. I think he's going to be left on the bench again, and it's like a war of words basically between him and Moyes, and who's going to win? The manager's going to win in the end. So yeah.
Yeah. Right, let's say hello to people in the chat before I come to you, West Ham Online. Happy Monday. Hi Andy. I'm alright. Hi Lee. You're here now. I'm here. Russ, I'm here, definitely. Scott says looking forward to this Benrahma debate. Yeah, get your thoughts going. Here we go. Alright, lads, yeah. Back to school Wednesday. Yeah, I am looking forward to that actually. Who else have we got in here? Sorry, I missed your show today. Afternoon Stell, hello mate. Right, there's some thoughts coming in now. Tom says I think Moyes trusts him, but knows which games to play him in. I mean, we'll come to that bit in a minute. Good over, Jake. Oi. Hello. Right. So West Ham Online. What do you think of this whole kind of saga? What do you think? Do you think Moyes is convinced with Benrahma?
I think Tom made a really good point just then. That I think Moyes has certain games which he trusts him in, and certain games in which he's not quite ready to throw him into yet. Personally, I think he should have come on earlier against City, for example. I don't think he showed a lot of trust in him. Then 84th minute was a bit too late, in my opinion. And I think the real test will be to see if he's in the lineup today. If he's in the lineup today, then he sees what we're seeing with Benrahma in the fact that he can exploit Leeds' space, create gaps like he did last time against Leeds, and he links up really well with Lingard, especially against Aston Villa. So I think tonight will be the defining point, in my opinion, as to whether we know Benrahma is trusted by Moyes.
Yeah. We've got somebody else who's just jumped in. Our first person to come in from the chat is Andy. Andy, you okay, mate?
You're not too bad, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. What's your thoughts on this whole situation, mate?
I agree what everyone else has been saying with regards to Benrahma. When we're going to have less of the ball or facing the teams on the bottom half of the table, I think Benrahma plays, absolutely, because he'll have more space in the final third and he can cause some damage, like what James said with regards to Palace and what West Ham Online said. Villa away was the prime example, and the Leeds game. So no, I understand why Fornals or Johnson comes in for the other games, and I'll be very surprised if Benrahma isn't playing tonight.
Yeah, we'll come back to that in a minute. But Stell says he's convinced with him, otherwise the fee for his permanent signing wouldn't have sanctioned. And that's actually a good point, because I mean he is very Moyes. We know he's very reluctant to spend money, almost, isn't he, James? But what do you think of that?
The thing is, though, I've got to disagree with that, because the way I look at it is Bowen has done not a lot and he still plays. Like, Bowen's been playing the team. not doing it, assisting a lot, not doing anything. When Bowen gets on the ball, he cuts inside, always wants to have a shot. And I look at it that like, if someone can tell me right now that Bowen deserves to play in front of Benrahma, I'd happily have a debate with him, because Bowen in the last, say, 10, 12 games hasn't done a lot. He hasn't done a lot, really. He might have assisted a few things, but other than that, he goes missing in games. When Benrahma gets the ball, and he's running at people, we see something, looks like something's going to happen. When Bowen gets the ball, he runs forward, checks up, and goes back or cuts inside. And that's your difference. And like, if someone can tell me different, then I'll happy hear it.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there, James, in the fact that I do see what you're saying. Bowen, last 12 games, I think he's been a ghost. But a lot of that has been down to the fact that he was playing through an illness. I do agree with you that at times his decision-making, I think the bit I don't get with Bowen is Moyes has complained about Benrahma's decision-making, yet I think Bowen's is worse. But I think in Bowen's first 6 to 7 months at the club, I thought he was excellent. I believe after lockdown last season, he had more assists than anyone else in the league for a period of time. And I thought at the start of this season, he was excellent as well. But he seems to be off form, and it'll be interesting to see if he can recapture that.
See, I don't disagree with that. But if a man is ill and he's not fully match fit, mentally fit, he shouldn't be playing. It's as simple as that. Like, and when there's a man on the bench who we all know can make stuff happen at any time in the game, like I don't understand it how he comes on the pitch and the 80th minute, 85th minute, 75th minute, and Moyes goes, "Go on, get on the pitch and change the game for us," but he won't start him for some reason. That's the bit I can't work out. Like,
I do agree.
He's good enough. He's good enough to play for 10 minutes and try and save us from losing a game, winning a game, or drawing a game. But he's not good enough to start 90 minutes. And to me, that don't really make a lot of sense. I don't know if anyone else agrees or not.
Yeah, Andy, I just really don't get it. If Benrahma doesn't start tonight, what do you think that message is putting out to Benrahma? Because I mean, you all know I'm a massive Benrahma fan, but even the people who aren't as big as a fan as I am must think, what's this lad done wrong?
I'm probably gonna say something which everyone's gonna be shocked. And when I see it, I see Benrahma works quite hard off the ball. But I think Moyes everyone has to work hard. You see Fornals, the stick what he got during the start of the season. But I remember that tackle, that block what he done against like Southampton and stuff like that. If you don't work hard, you don't get in the team. But I think you do need every team like. Liverpool has Salah, for example. You should be able to cope with one player who doesn't do the nitty gritty side of it, if that makes sense. But that's the only other reason what I can say. I think with regards to Bowen playing, I think if Fredericks was fit, Fredericks would have featured more in front of Kufal. But I think, like you said, if Bowen has been playing through an injury and stuff, that could be the problem as well.
Yeah. Have you recovered from Peach yet, still? Should be at school, not entertaining. Slackers like me. Well, there you go. Scott says, I still don't understand why Benrahma was pulled off after 55 minutes against Fulham. Must have not just confidence. West Ham online, and that must have done that as well because in that game there wasn't a lot of there wasn't a lot of creativity. There wasn't much happening in that game, and perhaps if he would have stayed on for the full 90 minutes, he could have created something because he's the player who could have created something.
Yeah, I do agree. I remember at the time I was thinking, because if you remember, we had United in the cup in the week, so I thought, he's pulled him out the game to prepare him for United because he'd been playing quite a lot before then. Then he didn't start against United, so it was really confusing because I thought, although he had a poor game against Fulham, I still thought he was our best attacking player. I remember Lingard, that was certainly his worst game in a West Ham shirt, Lingard. Bowen, like you say, was poor. Antonio had the touch of, I don't know, a bookshelf. Everyone was really poor, and Benrahma was the only one doing anything of any notice. So when he was pulled off, I thought, thank God, at least he's going to start against United. And then he didn't. So we go back to that point there of where does Moyes trust Benrahma or not? And it still is a massive question for me.
See, the thing is there, right? Can I just say something there, right? You're bang on what you're saying about Benrahma, Fulham and all that. The next game against Man United, he comes on in the 87th minute. 87th minute of the FA Cup game, and he is turning up, and we're asking him to change the game for us on the 87th minute. Now, I don't get it. I really don't. And I would happily, like some people say about Benrahma, say, well, he ain't, is he a squad player? I'm like, no, behave. Like, I'm telling you now, what, 87 minutes in the FA Cup game at Old Trafford, and the young lad, Odebekio, comes on for Yarmolenko before him. It's very political there. I don't understand why. Like, if someone can tell me why he's getting 3 minutes of normal time against Manchester United plus extra time, I'd like to hear it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stell's joined us. And Stell, good afternoon. You alright?
Hello, chaps. Are you well?
Yeah, not too bad. What's your thoughts? You put a couple of comments in the
Yeah,
chat. Go on,
it's
fire away.
intriguing. It's intriguing because I think I kind of agree with a lot of the lads at the beginning of the season when Benrahma wasn't playing, and I kept asking the same question: why is he not on the pitch? But I'm beginning to understand the method that Moyes has started to develop with his players. He seems to be giving each player a little bit of time off. He did it with Fornals. He's done it with Bowen. It seems to be Benrahma's turn. I kind of agree. He should be coming on earlier in the game. I thought he should have come on against City on the 70th minute because I think he could have turned the game around for us. But there's a method to Moyes' madness, even though it seems odd. I can't agree with him not liking Benrahma because, as I said, it seems Moyes has got an awful lot of say in the transfers. We lost 20 million on Allaire, for example. He's sent Anderson out on loan, didn't want him, and if he really didn't fancy Benrahma, I don't think he would have found a way not to have sanctioned the sale, or the purchase. Sorry. So I get what the guys are saying. I think it's frustrating when you got a player like that on the bench thinking that he can change a game around. That is frustrating. I find that frustrating. But there's a method to Moyes' madness. He hasn't done much wrong this season. And then as the season goes on, I keep thinking to myself, he's proved us wrong again. So it's an odd one. I think he should start. I'm hoping he starts tonight, Benrahma. I really am. But I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't.
Yeah. Andy, in terms of tonight, then, Benrahma, is he in there? And what sacrifice would this make for him to come in there? Who goes out? What are we gonna do tonight in terms of the just the kind of positioning?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I've been saying it a lot all weekend. I'd love to go back to the back four again, which has been I would never have said that. I keep saying that more and more as the season goes on. I was hard to convince that, and I'll probably see Ben Johnson come out and probably Benrahma in. The one thing to consider is obviously we've got Man United next, and Lingard can't play, so you'll definitely see Lingard play the full 90 minutes today, unless something dramatic happens. So it depends what Moyes wants to do, but. Yeah, the one thing what I would like to see is probably Benrahma in the number 10.
Yeah.
Benrahma in the number 10, because Lingard worked hard against City, and maybe push Lingard more further out, and then you can have Fornals push in, go out on the right. Maybe that's another suggestion. What I would suggest. I don't know about you lads.
Yeah.
Good shout. Yep.
Yeah. James, what are you going to do tonight if you're Moyes in terms of Benrahma, who's coming out, who's going in?
What it is, you can't fault Fornals after last week. That's the problem. And Fornals is a number 10. I've said this before. Fornals needs to do more as a number 10 other than work rate. He needs to assist goals. He needs to score goals. Like, you can't have a number 10 who's just running around, working hard, but not providing anything in the final third. Like, it has to be, you have to either score goals or assist goals. When you're looking at Aaron Cresswell, who's got more assists than him, and he plays as a left back or a left defensive sided player, then your questions need to be asked. Tonight, I think I will know more next week against Manchester United about Benrahma, because if Benrahma doesn't start against Manchester United next week with no Lingard in the team, then questions will need to be asked of what the hell is going on. Like, I'm afraid. Because he needs to play, right? He makes everything happen. I would like to see Benrahma, Bowen, Lingard, and then Antonio as a four-man attack. Benrahma left, Bowen on the right, Lingard as the 10, and Antonio up top. Like, that's attacking, that's pace, that's a threat, and they all rotate. They can all play different positions along the as the free man attack. And do I think Benrahma's going to play tonight? No, I don't think he does, mate. I think you go Bowen one side, Fornells as a 10, Lingard the other side, and Antonio up front with Souček, Rice, and the 4-man defence.
Yeah.
I just don't understand what he's got to do to play. And then there's people that I've seen on Twitter and social media criticising the lad because he's not performing. And I'm like, well, you've got to give the geezer 90 minutes over a certain amount of games to judging. You can't judge a geezer after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 7 minutes, because it ain't going to work. Like, it's common sense, isn't it? So, I think you don't play tonight, mate, if I'm honest.
Completely. West Ham Online, would you commit Fornells for Benrahma going there tonight?
No, I'd personally start Fornells tonight because of the way he played against Man City. I do want Benrahma to play as well, but I wouldn't do it at the expense of Fornells. I think Fornells is a starter for us, not because of his overall ability on the ball. I think he's one of the most intelligent footballers that we've got. By that, I mean the positions he picks up, the way he tracks back. You'll see even he actually gets a lot of big chances. Yes, he's a useless finisher, but his positioning and the way he gets into those areas is fantastic. And if he can work on his positioning, he'd be a deadly attacker. Not his positioning, sorry, his finishing. So, yeah, the problem for me with Fornells is, like James said, in the final third, he's a headless chicken in the fact that he's got no end product. He trips over every time he shoots and things like this, which is weird. I don't know why he does that. But I'd personally, like the lads have said, I'd go back to the back four and bring Benrahma in Johnson's expense. I'd probably play Benrahma on the right. We've not seen him on the right yet, and it'd be interesting to see how he plays there because he's not dispatching Lingard in the middle. So yeah, I'd go with Antonio up front. Oh, I don't know what to do here. Probably Fornells on the left, but coming in as an attacking midfielder when we're in possession. Lingard in the middle, Benrahma on the right, and Antonio up front.
Well, that is a front line, isn't it, Stel? What are you gonna do tonight if you're Moyes?
I think Moyes. I kind of said it a few weeks ago, where I think Moyes seems to be selecting teams like an American football style coach does. He selects players for a particular type of game. So we know Leeds have got a threat attacking wise. So I reckon Fornells will start in order to combat that threat. If you're going to fit Benrahma in, you've either got to drop Lingard or you've got to drop Bowen. And I can't remember which one of you lads said, like contesting Bowen's ability. Bowen scored 5 goals this season. Bowen makes assists. He may not have been on form lately, but he is.
But I got to disagree though. Still, got to disagree, mate. Because last 10 games, he's been an invisible man. I'm afraid. You might be able to assist goals and all that and score goals, but if you're nowhere to be seen after 10 games, then justify me right now why he's in the team.
Well, he's been ill, and honestly, he shouldn't have been picked for being ill because he's had tonsillitis. Right. So he's not. But that's the manager's choice. So I agree with you there. Sorry, the cats are just throwing everything around.
The cat agrees with me.
I agree. I would pick Bowen anytime, to be honest with you. I think Bowen is a class player. He's getting better and better. And he's the sort of player that he may disappear in a game and all out of the blue, he'll come up with an assist. He'll come up with a goal. I do agree with you, though. The last few games, he hasn't given much. Would Benrahma have been better? There's the thing about giving a player a freedom. One of our attack-minded players more the freedom, and I think Lingard's got that at the moment. He's the one that's got the freedom to roam. Not necessarily having to track back and stuff like that. If you've got Benrahma and Lingard on the pitch, you're kind of leaving yourself a bit short. Bowen does the hard work, just like Fornells. Fornells has been made by Moyes to become more like a Mark Noble type player, sort of like, he'll go forward, but he'll drop as well. And that's why Fornells' game has changed. We We bought him as a number 10, thinking he was going to compete against Lanzini, and yet he's kind of competing like he plays more. He's playing more of a sort of a solid attack-minded player, a solid player rather than an attack-minded player. But if you put Benrahma on the pitch with Lingard, it means you've got two players that don't necessarily like to drop. That kind of against a team like Leeds, that'll leave us a bit exposed. So, like I said, I'd like Benrahma to start, but I get why Bowen would start, and I get why Fornals would start against Leeds, especially.
It'll be interesting to see when Masuaku comes back who gets dropped.
That's a good point. No one, I think.
There he goes. There he goes.
I hope not.
The
I can't stand
Masuaku.
Masuaku.
That makes two of you then. That makes two of you. There you go.
I agree with Still on one thing. You know what I mean? But
it's an interesting point, though. You know, when he comes back, mind you, lads, you know, Masuaku, Ogbonna, and Yarmolenko won't be back until mid to late April. You know, there'll be 5 or 6 games left by then. So,
can I just say something to Still, though? I know you were saying about the working hard and all that, and I get that. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. You've got to work hard. But do we really want our attacking players working hard, right? When I want them to attack, I want them to be on the front foot, not
100% agree. 100% agree. And if you were David Moyes, he'll go, yes, I do. And that's the person that counts. I totally agree. I want to see my flair players waiting up there, almost goal hanging, waiting to score a goal. I don't want to see him in our just outside our 18-yard box trying to clear the ball away. But that's what Moyes loves. Moyes loves that type of player. That he's got Bowen doing that. He's got Fornals doing that. And he's allowing Lingard drops, but he's allowing Lingard to have that bit more freedom. But I totally agree. You know, I don't want my attacking players in our own half. I want them in the attack in the opposition's half. Absolutely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Andy, what do you think about that then?
No, I agree. It should be. You should have, like I said earlier, you should have the one luxury player, like what Stel said as well, and it seems to be Lingard at the moment. But even Antonio, I know it was Man City and in the previous game, even Antonio lets the likes of Fornals or Lingard or Bowen have a rest. He'll cover on the left and the right as well, and that understanding that doesn't just happen overnight. You can tell Moyes is working with that on the training ground, and I think surprisingly, I think set pieces will be the answer, like it was in the last game tonight. We've not really scored in the last few games. We've not really scored many set piece goals because of the team that we're playing against, and I think that's where the likes of Souček and Dawson, Diop in the box, they're going to cause havoc, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a couple from there today.
Yeah.
And they're vulnerable on set pieces as well, Leeds. So, that's a good point.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Jake. I've got to go back to work, mate, and I'll take care, guys. I'll see you later, yeah?
Take care.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks for coming on. Right, this is going to get very interesting now. Pete, hello.
Yo, we got to kill them things like Jeffrey Dahmer. Big up men like Benrahma. How do you mean that?
Peach, I haven't got over my headache from last night over you, mate.
Hey, what they call it? What they call it? It's like the morning after, the day before after the morning. I'm back, where's my hoodie at, dog?
I saw him come in the green room. I thought, oh, here we go. Stem's going to love this.
Big up, James. Big up, James. Big up, James. Big up, Jake. Big up, Stelios. How you mean? Much love.
Peach, just before I come to you, West Ham Online, do you agree with what the guys were saying to do with the whole situation with Benrahma then?
I agree with parts of it. What Stel said in the fact that he wants his attacking players to stay forward. In entertainment terms, I completely agree. If you play that way against Leeds, you're going to risk losing. If you watch, I don't know if any of you watched the Leeds-Leicester game, the 3-1 where Leicester beat them. Every single goal was a counter-attack. The first time Leeds and Leicester played, Leicester absolutely smacked them 4-1. What Leeds have been good at this season, if you notice, every time they've played a team, they've only lost twice against the same team, if that makes sense. So every time they've lost against a team, they've learned from it in the reverse fixture. I think if we stay condensed at the back and we counter them, there's no chance we're losing, in my opinion. And also, good evening, Peach.
Right, Peach.
He's in his
I'm
own
gonna
world,
let-
mate.
Peach is.
Peach, I'm going to let you fire away for 2 minutes.
Go on, my
Go.
son. What? Go on. What? The predictions,
Benrahma.
Come again?
Benrahma, what do you think of the situation with Benrahma not playing and all of that?
I think Benrahma's been treated kind of badly. Like, I don't care if it's a Sullivan signing or like a Matthew Perry signing. Like, I just think he's been treated badly. Real talk. Like, you can see the man has skill. You can see the man likes to go forward. Why not give him a go? Like, he'd be perfect against Leeds, I think, man, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. Peach, have you got any reasoning of why Moyes isn't playing Benrahma?
No, I don't. I wish I did. Stell, do you have any reasoning why Benrahma ain't playing?
Yeah, I was saying earlier, mate. I think Moyes likes to give one player the freedom of the park, attack-wise, and that's Lingard at the moment.
It is.
And Moyes is too risk-averse to want to have 2 free players on the pitch unless we're losing. And then he might do that. But I think Lingard's got that mantra at the moment, and that's why Benrahma doesn't. And people have been saying, well, I'd rather have Benrahma than Bowen or Benrahma over Fornals, but Bowen and Fornals do all the hard work that Moyes likes. So
I agree with that.
I tell you, I'll give you something controversial. If you want to put Benrahma in, drop Antonio. Let him have a proper rest. Let him have a proper let him have a proper rest. He scored the goals, I know, but let him.
Here we go.
I'll tell you something.
Fighting words, Don.
I'll tell you something. Antonio.
Anthony Joshua words, Don.
I'll tell you something. Antonio has looked unfit since he's come back from injury. Let him come on the 60th minute to cause havoc against the opposition.
No.
And hang on, put Benrahma and Lingard as the false number 9s with Bowen and Fornals in, and you might see quite a different game there. I genuinely think
he's had 9 days rest, mate.
He's had 9 days rest, and I guarantee you, in 25 minutes, after 25 minutes, he's going to be huffing and puffing as if he's been running for 9 days.
Let me ask you, listen, I'm not this. I partly agree with you, but how much rest should he have?
Oh my God.
How much rest should he have?
I genuinely think he's not fit. It's not so much the rest. I actually think he's not fit. I think he can't play 90 minutes, but we've got no other choice. And so
what I will say on that, listen, right, I do partly agree with it, because let's be honest, if Antonio pulls up once, it's good night for the season. Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
Like,
totally
on a serious note, if his hamstring goes now, it's good night for the season. It's good night possibly for the top 4. So I look at games like this game, for instance, where we're a counter-attacking threat. Benrahma needs to play. Right, so basically, you need to get the man on the pitch, right? Yeah. So if Antonio needs to sit on the bench for 45, 60 minutes and then come on, right? If it's good enough for Benrahma, it's good enough for Antonio. Let's get that right here. Do you know what I mean? So it's good enough for Bowen. It's good enough for all of them. So I'm not disputing that. Obviously, when we say Antonio, he's our main threat. So basically, that is the only issue on that. But you've got to wrap the man in cotton wool. And some games he's going to needs to be done. Like next week against Man United, would you rather him, especially with Lingard not being there? I'd rather have him fully fit at Man United than
exactly.
Now.
It's my point. It's my point in a way, because we're pushing Antonio, and you're absolutely right. Sooner, he's already been out 3 times with his hammies this season. I think it's 3 times. That's quite. I mean, we're usually accustomed to him being out 2 times in a season. It's been 3, and he just doesn't look 100%. And that's what I mean when I talk about rest him. I'm not talking about drop him. I'm talking about bring him up. He could
You
be a
do.
great
You
threat,
do.
you know. No, I don't. I really don't. I really don't. Because I mean, he's been a revelation for us as a striker. But we're relying on it. It's exactly what you just said. We're relying on him so much that if he pulls his hammy again, you're absolutely right. Finish for the season.
Over.
Finish for the
Yeah.
season.
Right.
You know.
Right, I'm gonna let
And
West Ham
hold
live.
on, before you go, Jake, he'd be a wicked like impact substitution. Antonio would, man. Like coming on in the 60th minute, he'd be wicked, man. Yo,
Right, Peach.
sorry, Jake.
Right.
I know it's hard to shut me. I know. Go on.
I love you, Peach. West
I
Ham
love you
Online.
too, Wendy.
West Ham Online. I know you've got different views to Stell on Rest and Antonio. Fire away.
I think Stell is right that the fact that Antonio has A4 pieces of paper for hamstrings, like Flat Stanley FC down
That's
there.
a new one.
I like that one. I like that.
Yeah, so he does have Flat Stanley hamstrings, but he's had about 10 months rest. I mean, we may as well give him the year off if we're going to rest him tonight. Yeah, I think we have to play him today because if the Leeds centre-backs are shaky at best, the Leeds centre-backs are really worrying. You've seen the amount of goals they've conceded this season. Any sign of a striker that's above championship level and they're on the floor fainting. So I think we have to play Antonio today. He destroys, I don't know what Strauch, is it? The centre-back for Leeds?
Yeah. And Cooper.
Honestly, I've seen under sevens better than them too. We need to play Antonio today, and we need to get him running at that back two because we can cause them real problems tonight if Antonio plays.
Oh yeah.
When it reaches 60 minutes, take him off, but not starting him. In my opinion, would just be awful. I mean, we may as well give him till Christmas to recover from his injury.
I was playing devil's advocate, but in order to get Benrahma on, who do you honestly drop? Because for me, it's got to be one of the real out and out attack minded players, Antonio or Lingard. You're not dropping Lingard, But and as I said, Fornals and Bowen do a job because that's what Moyes wants them to do. So I was playing devil's advocate. I don't expect for a minute Antonio will be dropped. But if you want to play devil's advocate, which of the two, if Moyes was sitting there going, right, I want just two real attackers on the pitch, it's either Antonio, Lingard or Benrahma. Benrahma loses out all the time, unfortunately. He's not going to drop Lingard.
Don't you think though, Stell, right, that Joe, if you said about Bowen having like tonsillitis and having like health issue, don't you think that shows that he doesn't really trust Benrahma then? Because if you've got a man who's not feeling well and you're sitting there and you're going, right, you're sitting there and you're going, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make a lot of sense.
I think it shows more that Bowen just really wanted to play and he was saying, oh, I'm fine, I'm all right. Maybe he even looked fine in training. But at the end of the day, you can't play a 90 minutes Premier League match with tonsillitis.
Yeah, exactly.
Your stamina will be drained, You'll be like Antonio is every match with his stamina.
Lads, I really did think the same as everyone else. I really thought that Ben, he's got it in for Benrahma. He's not interested in him. All this talk about it was a Sullivan signing and not, But Moyes has come out and said, I agree to this lad coming to West Ham. It was either him or Eze. Who I think they're both on par. I think
probably Eze's looked shocking lately.
He has, isn't he? Yeah,
I agree.
And I just think the way Moyes has handled transfers, like letting Allaire go for £20 million loss and all that sort of stuff. I think he did want Benrahma here. I think there is all this talk that he was convinced to bring him in, but Moyes is his own man. He's kind of proven that the way he does team selections, players he wants to bring in, all that sort of stuff. So I think he has got Benrahma because he wants him there. I just think Benrahma's just got to bide his time. But I do agree, he should be coming on. If he's a sub, he should be coming on earlier. He should have come on earlier against City. He should have come on earlier against United and stuff like that.
The thing is, still, I do agree with the transfers. I think Moyes is as tight as Gemma Collins in skinny jeans. He doesn't want to waste a penny.
West Ham Online. You've
Booyah!
got these all wrote down in a book. You've got these all wrote down.
Oh, mate.
Oh,
Mate, he fires. You know what I mean? He fires many shots. Like, you know what I mean? Like downtown.
West Ham Online,
Everywhere.
mate. I know you've got to go. So thank you very much for coming on today.
Thank you. See you all later.
Thank-
Well,
See you
Cheers.
later.
Nice
See you
one.
later, shot firer.
Right, just before we move on, there's a bit of a debate going on in the chat, and it started here where it said, just remind Jake he has housework to do, and then Tom said, can we ask the viewer excuse him, Richard, and then it goes down, and Dad said tell his mum, and then Tom said if I had 1.4k subscribers, people would be doing my housework for me. Would they?
Jake, I warn you now, mate. Your parents can pull you offline anytime they want. Don't get cocky, you know.
That's not
Jake,
me.
so-
I want some
Jake,
cheese on toast.
that-
I want some
Jake on
cheese on
tomorrow.
toast.
Oh dear. Right.
I love you, dog.
Right then, Peach. I think you've
Yeah.
got an outburst ready. Just go. Just go.
So differently, I agree. I don't got no outbursts. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning, dog. But it's like, yo, man, I agree. I agree with James. Like, I think Antonio should come on as a sub in like the 60th minute. Because everybody on Leeds, they'll be all tired up. They'll be all like half cream crackers. Bring on Antonio. That's when I think like you'll see big things go on straight up.
There you go, James.
I agree with what like Stell was saying, partly with what he's saying about like if you're going to change it around, you're going to have to change it around with Antonio there. Fornals as a 10. It's mixed views with Fornals with me. I like him. I like his work rate, but what does he do? He don't really score many goals. He don't really assist many goals. And when you're a number 10, you're supposed to be creating more than being defensive, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? There's not a lot of number 10s in the Premier League who are more defensive than they are attacking.
Yeah,
so
but that's down to Moyes though, mate, because you know Moyes has changed his game. Moyes has forced him to change his game. You know, because I agree with you there. You know, he came, like I said earlier, came in as a number 10. We thought he was going to compete with Lanzini, and all of a sudden he's playing that like he's not playing as a number 10, is he? He's almost playing as if he's like almost alongside Rice and Souček in a way.
Totally agree.
You know,
totally agree with what you just said there. What Stell's just said there is I absolutely agree. I've had this argument many a times on different platforms. Right? He drops into midfield like a 4-3-3 system, but they put him as a number 10 to make it look like he's a more attacking.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, gentlemen, right? As a number 10, he doesn't provide anything going forward. I know I'm not Bowen. I like Bowen. I like Bowen as a player. I like him as a lad. I think he's a decent all-round bloke. But going forward, he's got a threat. He's got pace. He's got the ability to cut inside, have a shot, scores goals. When I look at Fornals, it's just run around, get stuck in, get the ball, pass it, and that's it. I don't see him having shots from outside the box. I don't see him getting in the box late like Souček. And when Souček is our top goal scorer, and he's our defensive midfielder box to box, then I'm sorry, but something needs to be said. Do you know what I mean? He needs to get in the box and score goals. Do you know what I mean?
Good point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I fancy Souček to score today. I really do. I fancy Souček to score today. We might even see Big Craig Dawson. Like, wait, Jake, where's Big Craig Dawson at? He's not in the chat today. He's not in the chat today. Like, you're dissing Big Craig Dawson all of a sudden. Wait, there he is, dog. There he is.
Oh dear. Right, so I've had this for a while, and I'm going to bring this in now. Now, I bought this up on Thursday night. This was the Leeds 11 for their last game. Meslier, back four of A-Link, Llorente, Cooper, Dallas, Struck in the middle, Helder Costa, Roberts, Click, and Rafinha, Bamford up top. Now, I mean, Benrahma, he can rip that apart defence, can't he, Stel?
Yeah, but so can Lingard. I think, and as James was saying, I reckon Antonio will give them a hell of a problem as well. So I think all our attack-minded players can cause them a bit of problems, Benrahma included. Yeah, you know, But like I said, I want to see Benrahma start, but I don't think he will.
I agree with you.
But
I agree with you.
Lingard will tear them apart.
Let me ask you this: what does Benrahma have to do to get in the team, though? That's more to the question. What has he got to do to?
He got to walk on water, dog. He has to walk on water, dog. Like, it seems like that.
He's got to be better than Lingard. For me, at the moment, that seems to be the answer. He's got to be better than Lingard. I don't know if it was you that said it earlier or someone else said it earlier. It will be really, really telling next weekend when we play Man United because Lingard can't play. Yeah. If he doesn't start, then fair enough. It's going to be interesting. But I think he will start. I think he'll just take Lingard's place next weekend. But if he doesn't,
Jake, what do you think? What do you think about like Benrahma, Antonio, and Lingard and all them things there?
Oh, well, you all know me. I like Benrahma. I think that he should be in the starting 11 pretty much every week because I think he's got that there. He's got that ability, and so is Lingard. And we saw it against Aston Villa. We saw it there when Lingard and when Benrahma were playing together. We tore Aston Villa to absolute shreds in that on that day, and I just think what can we do with if we get some sort of fully fit Antonio, if we get Benrahma and Lingard, whether it's Fornals or Bowen, whoever in that side together, we could be unstoppable for many sides. I really do think that, but we have got to give Benrahma a chance. Alongside the players like alongside the players like Lingard, and I want to see him in the side. I really do, but we will see 7:00 tonight. We will see what happens. It will be interesting what happens. But any last thoughts before I go through the comments?
Tune in at 6:45, and you'll find out 15 minutes earlier on our channel.
Pluggy, plug. Look at Stel. Pluggy, plug.
Stel, is that the second-hand is that second-hand information, Stel?
Every bit of information is second-hand, mate. There's nothing first-hand. I guarantee you, nothing is first-hand unless you're David Sullivan or David Gold. There you go.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Stel. I think I watched a bit of the West Ham Weekly this morning when Peach was on there, and that was interesting.
I was lost for words, mate.
I had so much fun, Stel. That was amazing. That was amazing.
Everyone did, and I had several paracetamols afterwards, mate, too.
I said there as well that you've got a free slot for the Matchday Live tonight, so it's going to be Anton, it's going to be Matt, it's going to be you, and I'm the only one without a blimmin' skinhead. What?
Go and get it shaved off before tonight.
And without a headset as well. I'm like, oh my god.
Sort yourself out, or you're not part of the gang, mate. Go on, get your mum to shave your head off. Shave your hair off tonight.
Yeah.
Right, I gotta go. So thanks for having me on, lads.
Cheers,
you're a legend. You're a legend. I want my hoodie, dog, but you're a legend still. And you'll be even more of a legend when I get my hoodie.
Right,
Jake, you're brilliant, man. You're brilliant. And James, James should be manager of West Ham, dog. I know business. James should be manager of West Ham, dog. Real talk, man. Homeboy has his brain work properly, dog.
It's just common sense. Like when you look at like certain things if you don't make it hard, like make it easy. You know what I mean? And like obviously the Antonio thing is, I understand what Stel's saying there about Mr. Antonio. I think he's got a valid point. I know people were laughing about it, but if Antonio pulls up at any time in the next 12 games, we're in trouble because we ain't got a striker. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So guys, I'm going to go through the comments now. Do you want to stay on with me to discuss them?
Man.
Right. Let's go. I've got a lot of comments here. Right, we did these ones. I think we got down to butter. Right, this is Stel's ones. I think it's a bit of a fallacy to say he doesn't trust him. I will play where Moyes believes he's right to do so. However, he should have come on sooner in the Man City game. Agree?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like why it was the 80, I think it was the 82nd minute. I don't understand that one when we need a goal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree there.
Scott says he needs a good run of games. Not many perform consistently, playing the odd game here and there. Give him a run and he'll do wonders. I completely
Yeah.
agree.
I agree with Scott there totally. Scott, he's on my Twitter following, and I'll be honest with you, he talks a lot of sense that lad, and he understands it. So yeah, I agree with Scott totally there.
Yeah, me too.
Neil says, I think Moyes worries about Benrahma giving the ball away. And I think for me personally, when he was first joined, I think he wasn't playing, in my opinion, because when he came in, he wasn't... Is that me? I don't know what's going on there, that noise.
No, I think it's Pete.
No, that's a truck. That's a truck by where Leeward start. How do you mean?
Canada. I think because because he was tracking back, he wasn't playing, but he's doing that now. Tom says, I honestly think Bowen's contribution is underrated. He sometimes get his decision making wrong in the final third, but his tracking back and help for the fullbacks is excellent. He doesn't stop running.
Don't disagree with that comment, but when I've got your right winger, you want him to go forward, not back. And that is the attitude on it. Like, you can't, like, the last 10 games, let's not all kid ourselves here. Bowen's been invisible. Like, he's, like, all I can remember roughly, he's in assisting Antonio for the goal against Spurs. Other than that, he hasn't done a lot. Like he come on against Stockport, done nothing. He got pulled off. He got pulled off at Fulham, done nothing. Done nothing at Man United in the FA Cup. So, like, I'm not knocking the lad. I like Bowen as a player. I think he's a good player. He's got potential. I like him. But when I look at Benrahma, when Benrahma gets the ball, I know something could happen, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Benrahma takes on people. Like Benrahma takes on people. He has no fear. But Bowen, he tries to take on people, but he don't look up. Like, he don't look up, and I think that's his weakness, man.
Yeah.
I agree.
Lee says maybe Moyes don't want to show other teams how good he really is, saving Benny for the coming games to unleash him and knock him. Really?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Like, the way I look at that is basically Moyes can put him on for 10 minutes, trust him for 10 minutes, but not for 90. So you can't have it both ways. You know what I mean? You know? No. Like, he's all right. Like, this argument's sake, right? If he comes on tonight and we're 1-1, he's coming on to try and change the game for us to win the game. Like,
yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So if you're trusting him to come on and change the game for us, why can't you trust him from the start to get on the pitch at the start and make a difference from the start of the game? If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Completely. Charlie says Benrahma hasn't even got himself into many a scoring opportunity that blatantly comes to my mind. He hasn't.
Disagree.
Has he?
Disagree with that totally. I'm sorry, Jake. Disagree with that totally, mate. Yeah. How many assists he could have given Antonio against Palace at Villa away? He absolutely tore it up. Right. He assisted Souček. He had a semi-assist against Lingard. There, totally disagree with that comment. I think because he don't score no goals, but that man will make you goals. You know what I mean? And that's the difference.
Yeah, to what Charlie said, to back up James's point, there is he's there was a question on this in my quiz I did with Walsh and Frankel. He is the second player for the most assists this season for West Ham. And how many games he played? I don't even know how many games he's played. Not many, I can tell you that. And he's fourth. He's got
4 assists. Yeah.
4 assists. Yeah. I'm just looking at the Benrahma stats. He's played 18 games. Has he really played 18 games? That can't be right.
Is that 18 games with cup games and all? Because I don't think that's 18 games.
No, it must be. It must be.
Yeah.
It must be. No?
Point. Yeah. Sorry, Benrahma statistics. Anyway, right, let's move on to a couple more comments. We've got a lot of comments here, so let's get from quite
Good.
quick. Tom says, the game naturally opens up towards
What's
the
up, my
end.
dude?
Oh dear. Though, doesn't it? Which plays into Benrahma's hands completely. Scott says, after his performances against Villa and Palace, he deserves a run. I completely
Totally
agree.
agree.
Yet, yeah. W&P says it's about following Moyes' instructions, not about who fans prefer. I guess Bowen follows his boss's instructions better than Benny. Peter, I'm going to hand that over to you. What do you think of that?
What about Benrahma following instructions?
Not following instructions.
Yeah. I tell you what. I'll read the comment again. It says
Please do.
it's about following Moyes' instructions, not about who fans prefer. I guess Bowen follows his boss's instructions better than Benrahma.
Yeah, so what I take from that is Moyes wants to be like the puppet master, basically, and if you're not following what Moyes is saying, you're not getting on the team. And I think Benrahma is a free spirit, like Bowen, similar as. So yeah, Bowen's following Moyes' instructions. Like you know who I think follows Moyes' instructions the best is Ben Johnson, and that's why he's getting put on.
Yeah. Just to say the amount of comments we've got, I am half an hour behind the comments here, so these comments were made at about 1:30. So we're gonna rattle through. Jake is too cool. Jake is too cool for school. Were they again?
Jake is too cool for school. Jake is way too cool for school, man. I mean, he's a bad man.
I subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, Charlie. Tom Burford, coming on in the 87th minute. Do you think they already had extra time in mind? I've not.
But the thing is, what can he do in, just for argument's sake, when United went and scored in the 88th minute? What can that man do in 6 minutes or 7 minutes of game time?
It's ridiculous, James. It's ridiculous,
it makes
man.
Right, I will say something about the comment what you just read out about not following instructions. Bowen has done nothing in 10 games other than run about and run with his head down, go nowhere. That is not following instructions, right? When I look at Benrahma, he presses like Lingard. If you watch tonight's game, if everyone who's come in the comments tonight watch tonight's game, just watch Lingard off the ball. Don't watch the ball, just watch Lingard. That man presses from the front all day long.
Yes.
Yeah. And Saeed does the same thing. He presses from the front all day long. He drops back into an advancing into the middle and he presses. Like, you can't say that he's not following instructions, because if he's not following instructions, why is he coming on as a sub? It makes no sense.
And it's all about what you do off the ball. Like, people don't understand that. But really, like, when I watch football, I watch what the man number doing off the ball. That's what that's what makes things happen, man.
Yeah, completely. I've just put the link in the chat if anyone else who's joined late wants to come on. Scott says look at his assist against Villa. You can name the players on one hand who made that pass in the league. That was a sublime pass through for was it to Souček who scored that?
Great assist.
That was
beautiful.
It really was, and it's a glimpse of what we can see if we play him for 90 minutes. Benrahma in replacing Bowen, perhaps. It is either Benrahma or Bowen who drops. He won't drop Fornals.
I can't see him dropping Fornals, especially after last week. He played too well. So
no way. Fornals worked his buns off, man. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. Creswell does take corners and free kicks. I think you guys just having a chat between yourselves in the chat. Lord Liam, that's a nice name. Antonio and pace shouldn't be used in the same sentence. I love Antonio, but he's not really got any pace.
He's got like power though. Like, I know what he's saying there. He hasn't got raw pace. He ain't got like a Marcus Rashford type pace, but he's got like power to go through people and barge people and like basically. But then if you look at that comment and then you go back to the West Brom home game when he put Pereira on his arse, then you know what I mean, barging him off the ball and running through it, everyone.
Yes.
Then maybe like you might have to look at it different. But I understand that comment totally. Like he hasn't got pace, he's got power. I'd say more than anything.
Yeah, he's like a Tonka truck. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Lord Liam again says, I'd have Benny starting over Bowen, just give Bowen a bit of a rest and perhaps for him to get over whatever illness he's had and hopefully to come back. Ken Hammer says, I'd play Benrahma in front of Bowen. He had a blunder. I think it means blinder.
Blinder, yeah.
Blinder in away game v Leeds completely. Leeds struggle against dribblers because it helps teams stop Leeds pressing game working. See, Kent, you know everything. I'm gonna take your word for that completely.
Yeah,
that's a good insight.
Yeah.
Irons Official, hello mate. Irons Official, if you guys don't know, was the guy who created my banner for my YouTube channel. So appreciate that. And we've got another guest. It's Tom. Hello Tom, you okay?
Hello, lads. I'm just trying I haven't done this before. I'm just trying to work out how to turn sound off. I can hear two of you.
Give us your thoughts on the Benrahma situation then, because you've been commenting in the chat. What's your thoughts on it?
I've got to say I agree with both halves of it, to be honest, because I think when people are sort of defending what Moyes has been doing previously, I don't think there's anybody that sort of really criticises Benrahma as a player. He is our flair player, I would say, and I think mostly it's a horses for courses kind of thing, and it's Moyes picking him in the games that he feels like he should be picking him in. Whether you agree with that or not, I don't know. But for tonight, I would be starting him, and I would sort of disregard sort of what's happened in the games previous. This is if you were to take a pick a game for Benrahma, it's tonight. Leeds have a very open game. They're extremely attacking, and it completely plays into Benrahma's hands, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does he play tomorrow then? Tom?
Yes.
Yeah. I think he does play today, doesn't he? Because I think that he's definitely got to play in there. And who would you like to see? Be alongside him, mate? In terms of the four up top.
I like James's suggestion earlier of that front four. I think that's spot on. Absolutely spot on.
Yeah, I think that like when you look at an attacking threat, we've got to stop being so defensive. Like that's. I understand the work rate. Don't get me wrong, it works. Like it works to our team, but sometimes you need to have a bit of like thrust going forward, because if teams like who have got better quality than us see us just with no attacking threat, then they're sitting there going, you know what? They ain't going to go forward because they're too busy worrying about our forwards. The Leeds game is going to be a difficult game, but let's all go back to December, at the start of December when we played Leeds away. Benrahma was one of the top players in that team on the break, and we had Haller up front, and people were slating Haller, right? You either like him or you don't like him. We had Haller up front, no Antonio, no Lingard, and Benrahma was like slipping through passes. Him and Bowen together looks a good pairing. So we've got to weigh it up that sometimes in life you've got to stop having this hard work situation, and I want my forwards to go forward, not back, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world, man.
Well, I think even if you go back to the season where we had Payet, there were we'll look back at that season. People at the time, I remember it at the time, being sat in the ground, you know, with Payet in the team. We look back on him now as one of the best players we've ever had play for us in the Premier League. At that moment in time, he was arguably the best midfielder of that type in terms of in form in the world, and he was playing for us at that time. But there were still people around me saying, well, he doesn't track back and blah blah blah. But what Jake's point he made earlier is that it's always handy having a player in your side that can go missing for 89 minutes and just has to turn up for that one moment. Yossi Benayoun's another one that I remember from sort of the mid 2000s, you know, would go
I will
completely
give you a
missing in
name.
games.
Like
I will
Joe
give you a
Cole's
name,
able to do them
right?
things, sir.
Eyal Berkovic.
Yeah.
Go back a long time ago. Eyal Berkovic. He was another player, not a tracker, but give that man the ball and he will make things happen. So
Well,
I totally agree with what you're saying.
As you were talking
Like
earlier
the
there
Canio
about
things, man. They can
Lingard's
change
free
the game
role.
in a split second, man.
Yeah, Lingard in the free role, that's exactly what Berkovic used to do.
Yeah.
When I first started going, it was really exciting to watch, and you knew as soon as he got the ball and he linked up with Hartson, something was going to happen. And that's what Benrahma gives you. But I think we've now got a different kind of manager in charge now. And under other managers, I've got no doubt that teams that are of our level that would play Benrahma every week. But it's Moyes seems to be a horses for courses kind of manager.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, let me ask you this. What's Benrahma got to do to get in the team?
Walk on water.
I don't think he has, because, well, it's to get in Moyes' team week in, week out.
Starting lineup, basically. Basically starting 11.
I think he has to, in Moyes' opinion, he has to have all of the attributes that he looks for in a player. And under Moyes' teams, you only have to look at all of his teams. Even that Everton side that he got in the Champions League, it wasn't chock-a-block with flair players. It was, in inverted commas, workman-like footballers, with the added bit of flair thrown in.
Yeah.
But when Moyes had everything, didn't Morales play for them? Like, and he was a flair player. Like, you know what I mean?
But I understand what Tom's saying there. He had people like Tim Cahill, Mikel Arteta, Stephen Pienaar at that club. He had workhorses basically, but obviously Tim Cahill. Let's be honest here, he wasn't the most skillful player, but that man knew how to score goals. Like, and I know what you're saying. Yeah. He knew where the corner flag was at all to have a fight with it.
Oh, he used to punch that thing, didn't he? He used to punch that thing.
Yeah. Let's take some more comments. Lord Liam says, people slagging off Benny aren't giving the lad enough credit. If you're not playing him, you're not going to improve. Yeah, completely agree. Bowen's had a hell of a lot more opportunity than Benrahma. Benrahma is up there in the top 5 for assists per 90 when starting. Yeah, that's a good stat, and it just backs it up in another point. Lord Liam says, whilst I agree Bowen is class, I think it's time to give him a rest and have Benrahma starting. If he can't hack it, then Bowen on later in the game. Lewis says, defensively he works very well, but we need to attack and feel we can leave Soufal to handle it against Leeds. Tom, what's your thoughts on those last couple of comments?
I agree with that last comment there. I don't think anybody's actively criticised Benrahma, have they? I think we've just said that he's an excellent player, but doesn't necessarily fit the Moyes remit. I'm convinced he'll start tonight, though. And I think if we're talking about basing it on games that have happened previously, as James said, he absolutely ran the show against Leeds. So you'd pick him to do the same again, surely.
Let me ask you this, Tom. If he don't start tonight, Benrahma, next week we've got Manchester United, right? Lingard can't play because it's his parent club. If we go to Manchester United next Sunday, right, 7:15, and Benrahma's not in the starting lineup, what does that tell you?
That tells me everything. That tells me everything.
What I'd say was it hasn't happened yet, but I agree that I'd ask more of a question of it if he wasn't picked tonight than he would for the United game, I think.
No, but I agree with James though. If Benrahma doesn't start against Man U, what does that tell all of us? Like, really?
Exactly. Yeah. This might be a bit controversial, but I rate Diop above Ogbonna. He's been class lately. Well, that's an interesting point.
I like Diop. I think Diop's been.
I love Diop too, but Ogbonna's gone by the dog. Like, come on, he's been on a rock.
He has, yeah. But I mean, Ogbonna's been class, hasn't he? He really has. I don't.
I'll be honest with you here, right? And Tom could probably back, even you, Jake, to a point, and even Peach, all of us, right? 2 years ago, Bonner was out the door. Not
Yeah.
good enough by West Ham
Yeah, he
fans.
was.
West Ham fans
Absolutely.
saying, no, he's not good enough. He can't do it no more. Rubbish. Send him back to Italy. 2 years on, he's arguably one of our best defenders, if not our best defender at the club. Do I think Diop's better than him? No, but I think Diop will be better than him. That's the difference.
Yeah,
I think
Diop's still young, isn't he, James? Diop's still
Diop's-
young. He's only like 21,
Diop's 23. He's 23 years of
23,
age. And the thing is with the West Ham fan base, right, and I'll say it openly on here now, they're very reactionary. When someone doesn't do it, oh, no, he's no good. He's no good. Right? We've said it before on players and he's come back. And let's be honest, look at Craig Dawson. And I'll say no more on that.
100.
You know what I mean?
100.
Yeah, completely.
I think I was the only person that did it. He's been in my fantasy team, Craig Dawson, for about 4 seasons in a row. He always pops up with a go.
Matthew says if the attacking players stop working hard, we'd have to play another CDM and drop one of them as Rice and Souček because we would get overrun. I see. This is interesting. I was going to come on to that with Mike Dean officiating tonight. I reckon half the squad are going to face a suspension. Lol. So I'm going to come to you, Tom, first. Mike Dean is the referee tonight. I hope for people's Twitter accounts. I hope for Mike Dean himself, and I hope for the West Ham squad that nothing controversial happens tonight.
Well, they always say,
Mike Dean breaks his leg, dog. Straight up.
They always say, don't they, that the refs had a good performance if you don't even notice he's there. The guy, whilst if you take away all of the antics he's been through, he's one of the most experienced referees in the league, but he just can't keep himself out of the controversy, can he? And I think if you're consistently involved with things like that, there's got to be something wrong. And if it was against a bigger side, I'd be more worried. But,
agreed.
And that's, I absolutely detest VAR as well. I think they should get rid of that. That's a whole other debate.
Big time.
But,
VAR ruined the game, man.
It's horrendous. And the combination of Mike Dean and VAR, when he goes home and watches himself anyway. So when he goes to go and see himself on the monitor at the side of the screen, it's even better for him.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Right, let's take the comments. Right, we're down to 1:45 now, so we're only we're still half an hour behind the comments, but oh well. People blow Antonio up way too much. Geezer blowing out his backside after 25 minutes, but he's so important to us, though, isn't he?
He's not fit.
You're relying on the man
he's
who gets
fit enough to play. He's our only striker. If we had four fit strikers, he wouldn't be starting. Simple as that.
Yeah, completely. Tom, Antonio hasn't been fit for a long time. Antonio hasn't been fit for a long time, but being our only striker, he has to play. He's a completely different player from the end of last year and start of the season. Tom, I'm not going to ask your opinion on that because that's literally you. But Peach, what I'm going to do, somebody just come into the green room. I'm going to let you fire away. I'm going to get my laptop charger, so you fire away and discuss.
Okay, no problem. So James, West Ham manager James, what would your science be like going into this game tonight? Like counter-attacking, set plays, show me, man, show me.
I will tell you the truth right now. If Calvin Phillips doesn't play, we've got a great chance of beating Leeds. Calvin Phillips is important to Leeds United at the end of the day because he picks the passes out. He plays like he's their Rice, like what Rice is to us, basically. I think they're going to come on to us. They're going to try and press us as much as they can. If we can break through their press and get through their midfield with balls over the top to Bowen, Lingard, and if Fornells is there or Benrahma or whoever, that's the key. Going back to the Antonio thing, we need a striker at this club in the summer, and it is important that we go and buy a striker, if not two, because Antonio's injury record isn't sustainable.
Yeah.
I don't know about what everyone else thinks on that, but you've got to have a striker who's naturally a striker at this club. And Antonio's been good. He will break the Kenyo's record, and he will become West Ham's all-time Premier League goal scorer. But on tonight's game, I think it's going to be one of them. Really, we're going to have to make sure that we are on it from the get-go. And there is no pressure on us. I've seen people in Twitter today saying basically we've got to win this game, right? Yeah, we want to win this game, but if we draw this game, it ain't the be all and end all. Like
no, I know.
It's not an easy game. You know what I mean?
What do you think? What do you think about our strength in set plays against a team like Leeds? Do you think like that's where we're gonna kind of conquer them, or is it like counter-attacking?
It wouldn't surprise me if a centre half scores tonight. So Diop, Dawson, Souček, even Rice might nick a goal tonight. I think in the air we are lethal. Like we've got so many good players in the air who can score. So that wouldn't surprise me tonight. The first half, we're just going to have to see how they come out. I think Leeds will press us though massively. Big open pitch up there, and it's going to be interesting. But the way we're playing at the minute, especially after last week's game against Man City, like we played the best football, like 90 minutes against one of the best teams in the country, if not one of the best teams in Europe at the minute, and we sort of lost by just two silly mistakes, really. Like the first one with Randolph coming in, and the second one. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah. We're joined by Duke. Duke, good afternoon.
Afternoon, gentlemen.
Yeah.
What's going on, my ball? What's going on, my ball?
Just Peaches, just for a minute. I mean, you passed 100 subscribers when you were like in hospital, and now you got to sing Tom Jones.
Yeah, thanks for that, buddy. I'm very much appreciative of all your help, shall we say, for that one. So yeah, I've been gargling with some lemon juice to get the old vocal cords. You get out of it. I can't believe it. Just what I bloody wanted, wasn't it? Hey.
Well, that's down to me and Gio, I'm afraid. We got the platform and we got it going, and there you go.
Listen, I'm glad you're well, Drew. I'm glad you're well.
Yeah. Just before I asked you about Benrahma, I apologise. I've had to turn my light off because I've had to plug my laptop in because it's very low on charge to keep doing this. Duke, Benrahma, I mean, it's in the title. I'm going to ask you, as I've asked everyone, Peaches off to go and get himself a cider. But is Moyes convinced with Benrahma? What's your whole thoughts on this, Duke?
Right, a few weeks ago, I did a video with Gatesy around Benrahma, and I actually mentioned it to Gonzo as well. At the start, I didn't feel that Benrahma was a Moyes signing. When you look at his Everton sides, and I think James touched on it earlier, they were all grafters. He literally had a team there. Very, very few flair players. I'm not saying there wasn't, but there were very few flair players. The players that he had were willing to stick a foot in, do the dirty work, do all the, defend, basically. Get out there and do. There was no one that, really stuck out as in like a Di Canio, Payet, Benrahma, those type of players. And it didn't strike me as he was a Moyes signing. He started to play him, he started to use him, and then all of a sudden, he's now fallen down the pecking order. My brother said it a couple of weeks ago. It seems like we've signed a £25 million player who was on loan to replace him with another loan player in Lingard. And I like Benrahma, like James, love Benrahma. I think he's got all the attributes to be a top player for West Ham. I really do. I think he's got everything in his arsenal to become one of those that we do mention in the same breath as the likes of Payet, the likes of Di Canio, Rick, behave. He needs that first goal. Is that whole confidence thing comes from that first goal. The second he puts the ball in the onion bag, I think you're going to see a completely different outlook from Benrahma. I'm hoping tonight he gives him the start. I really am. I'd like to see Antonio Lingard, Benrahma, Fornals, if you want. I think Fornals offers us defensively and attackingly. He can pick those passes. I think Benrahma and Lingard really link well, as the guys have touched on against Villa. So tonight, I want to see him start. I want to see him out there with Lingard linking up. And I've said 3-1, and I think he will score.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Tom. What do you think of what Duke said there?
No, I'd agree with that, and I think the question will come down. There were noises being made about the Benrahma deal was all done and dusted, wasn't it? And there were noises being made about whether the question marks over his medical last minute is a potential get out if we need it when it comes around to the point where we sign him. I'd like to think that if we end up in at least the top 6, and where the board have promised to take us, it's not going to have to come down to a point of choosing which one we keep. If they're going to deliver on their promise, what they promised us, the whole reason we moved to the ground, we should be acquiring both of those when the season's up.
Yeah, definitely.
Who's the both? Who's the both? Can I ask?
Lingard and Benrahma. I know.
Benrahma's already signed. Signed in January.
Yeah, I know, but it's what's the term? It's not option to buy. It's the where you have to buy them, isn't it? Obligation to buy. But what I'm saying is that there were noises being made about when he was about to be signed, and there was a big delay over his medical. Some people suggesting that is there as a get out, like they'd be able to use the medical to take that clause out of the deal. But what I'm saying is that there's no reason in the direction the board are supposed to be taking this. They should buy both of them.
This summer's massive for the transfer front. It is massive for the club. It's massive for the ambition. It's as I've said it on Duke's channel and Gates's channel. I've said it on Jake's channel. This will decide where we are with these ownership. Right? Obviously, a lot of us don't like the owners. I'm one of them. I can't stand them. But at the end of the day, we never left Upton Park, and I say it again, we never left Upton Park 5 years ago to be going and playing in Stratford without the promises that they're supposed to have kept. So I agree with that, what you're saying. It's important. It's important. Let me ask this. I just want to ask this to Duke, because I understand everything what Duke says, 100% bang on. What's Benrahma got to do to get in the team, though, Duke?
I put it in the comments earlier, James. I don't know if you saw it. Lingard is and will be from now until the end of the season. There it is. He's going to be the benchmark of the standard of which they all need to aspire to, and that's not just what you're doing in the 90 minutes that we see week in, week out. Obviously, every game currently is on TV, so everyone has access to what we're watching on the box. Yeah. So what we don't get to see is what Moyes gets to see week in, week out, and that's what Benrahma puts in on the training on the training fields. Up at Rush Green, we don't see whether he's out there going tooth and nail, 110%, and giving everything he's got on the training pitch. All we're sitting here is we're going, well, why ain't he picking him? You're asking the question, what's he got to do? It might just be, mate, that he's not performing on the training ground. It might just be that he's not turning up Monday to Friday or whenever they're going out there and they're training, and he's not putting in the effort on the training ground, which is why Moyes is going, well, if you ain't willing to put the effort in on the training ground, what are we doing, come match day? So, if I'm honest, mate, if it's that, then that's all he's got to do to get into Moyes' thinking for a starting lineup. He's just got to go out there every day on them training pitches and put in 120%. You know, at the end of the day, he's on the back foot, so to speak, when it comes to that starting 11. He's on the back foot when it comes to being a name that goes on that team sheet. What he's got to do is he's got to make himself unpickable. And that starts on the training ground. He's got to get out there and he's got to make Moyes basically, if Moyes ain't watching him on the training field, he's got to basically be, you know, like that younger sibling or the elder sibling after you've had a new baby. You know, the one in the corner going, me, look at me, watch what I'm doing. That's what he needs to do. He's got to get Moyes' attention to make it impossible for Moyes not to pick it. Like I say, we don't see that side of things, so I can only, assume that might be the case. When he gets his chances on the pitch, you know, you guys mentioned earlier, coming on 8 minutes to go, I think it was, wasn't it, against City or wherever it was, you know, not enough time to interject yourself onto a game to make a difference and you know, get an assist or get an equaliser, or however you want to go about it. But when he gets on that pitch and he gets the chance, it's got to be both hands. He's got to get out there and he's got to do. He's come from being a relatively big fish in a smaller pond at Brentford. He kind of outgrew his stay there to a degree because he became, like Watkins, he became a top player there, which meant he needed to leave. Now he finds himself surrounded by those bigger fish. You know, so I think he's got to do more to stand out, not just in the 90 minutes, but also on the training ground.
Yeah. James, this is how long we've been going. Well, you guys have finished. I've just finished my meeting. We're still on. But let's just go for our last comments and then we will wrap it up. Lord Liam says, if someone doesn't start their first few games scoring 12 goals and bagging 35 assists, it doesn't seem like our fans will always turn against them.
That annoys me slightly. I don't know if he's there trying to goose us all and get us a little bit rolled up on that one. But I if I'm honest, I don't give a monkeys about assists and goals from any of the players, as long as I see them going out there and literally giving 110% for that shirt. Don't get me wrong, goals and assists make and break attacking players, whereas clean sheets make or break defensive players. But I want to see someone go out there and give everything for their shirt. So Benrahma going out there, as James mentioned earlier, he's got the assists. He's, you know, he could have had a few more goals if players like Bowen or Antonio decided they were going to look up and pull the ball across the box. So just because he hasn't got, I'm certainly not turning on him because he hasn't got goals, because he hasn't got assists. I think he's got so much more to bring.
How can he play? How can anyone judge him when he don't play? I'm going to say this, right? Because I've heard everyone saying it. He come off on the 55th minute against Fulham, and this was a month ago, right? Because it was a month. It's about a month, 5 weeks ago, and we've got Mike Dean tonight reffing the game, right? He started at the beginning of Fulham. He comes on the 87th minute against Manchester United, and he comes on in the 80th minute plus 84th minute against Sheffield United. How can anyone judge the man when he does not play any more than 15, 20 minutes a game?
Yeah, exactly. If that.
That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
He can't be judged.
Yeah.
On,
Tom. Just before we wrap this up, any final thoughts about Benrahma and for tonight?
I mean, I don't know if I haven't seen the chat since I've been on air, but I'm certainly not judging Benrahma as a player. Just trying to understand what the decision making might be. Those two examples there seem indefensible. That, you know, he's a player that's signed for his creativity. If we're talking about Taylor picking games for Benrahma to play in, Fulham certainly would have been one of them. So you're right with what you say in that him coming off in 55 minutes is not long enough to impact a game. And people will say yes, but look how good a point Fulham looks now. But at the time, it didn't seem it. they had the run of the game in the second half. But as we were saying, Benrahma's a player like Payet or like Berkovic or like Benayoun that can be anonymous for 89 minutes and only has to turn it on for a split second.
Yeah.
So well, you can come away from it being even West Ham, and you can even go probably a bit before your time, Jack, was Matt Letizia. Matt Letizia made an absolute career out of literally being non-existent for probably 86, 87
the laziest
minutes.
footballer ever to play in the Premier League, without doubt.
And then out of nowhere, bang. You know, he'll score. The geezer was capable of scoring a goal of the season every single game he played. Yeah, it'd be non-existent for, like you say, 95% of the game.
Yeah, right. Just before we wrap this up, for you guys that were on the preview, so Peach, Tom, and Duke, I'm gonna go through your predictions for tonight's game. Peach, I'm gonna start with you. 4-1 still.
4-1 all day long. 4-1 all day long, man. All day long.
Peach, I swear you say 4-1 every game, no matter who it is.
No.
Listen.
Differently. Normally, I'm like a 3-1 man. But this game, we need to gather somebody, and we haven't yet. And I think this is our time, dog.
Let's go. Right. Just over 5 hours. Just over 5 hours before kickoff. Tom, what's your prediction, mate?
I think we'll beat them 3-2. Benrahma's getting 2.
I'd love that.
That'd be classic. Still 3-2.
No, Tom means he's getting 2 minutes. He's getting 2 minutes, Tom, isn't it?
It'll be an injury time.
And the one, the only, Duke. What are you going for tomorrow? Today?
Today, I'm going to stick with 3-1. I think I said it in when you were on with me and Gatesy the other day. I think 3-1. I just think, Leeds concede too many goals, as I said before. For every 3 goals they score, they tend to concede 4. So they're always fighting an uphill battle. So no, I think we can take this one 3-1 today. Benrahma will get that elusive. I mean, we listen. Me and Gatesy say this every week. He's going to have his Tevez moment. Blah blah. We keep prattling on about it every video that we do. Every video will go on. Next one's Benrahma's one. Tonight is Benrahma's night, and I can see him getting his first and breaking that duck.
James, remind people your prediction. I think you said it 3 times now on this channel, but oh well, I might as well come to you as well.
I actually said 3. I actually thought 3-1, but I changed it to 2-1. I think it's a tough game tonight. I don't think this is going to be as easy as rolling these as comfortable as we all think. Obviously, it suits us because we just counter attack this team, and they're going to be open. Yeah. As long as we've got pace up front, then I'll be over the moon. If we come out and we've got pace in wide areas and all that, and we can hit them on the break, then the first half we could nick a goal. I actually think a defender scores tonight from a corner or a free kick. Someone like Diop or Dawson. I think the way they are in the air is awful. And if I'm going to say a Dawson goal tonight, and 2-1.
Fantasy football teams liking that, Tom.
That's good. That sounds good. Dawson goal and a clean sheet will do fine.
Yeah. Right, we're going to try and get this up to another 2 minutes for an hour and a half. Now, I like this question. Just to round off, Peach, as I said, Peach, if you had just scored a hat-trick for West Ham United, what celebration would you whip out of your locker?
I'd fly to the moon, then I'd go to Mars, and then I'd go to Pluto, land at Duke's Pub, and then go to some packaging from Cyber.
Duke.
Oh, yeah. What if I scored a hat trick? I think I'd pull out one of the old faithfuls. I think you're probably looking at maybe a Klinsmann or even a Fabrizio Ravanelli. The old shirt over the head and legging it around the pitch. Honestly, if I'd scored a hat trick at Upton Park in front of the Bobby Moore stand, I think I'd probably just fall down on my knees and cry there and then. That'd be it, I think.
Yeah. Tom, are you going to do that? That's what you're doing, isn't it?
No, I was going to say I'm not doing a FIFA 99 baby rocker. I I would either cry, do something where I'd be suspended for 10 games, but I think I'd do a Tevez and jump at that Tevez jump, just shirt off and straight in the crowd, mate, straight over the hoardings in the crowd. That's what I think.
Shirt off and right in the crowd, dog. I know what you mean.
Tom,
did you hear?
That would be Tom. That would be an almighty jump to get from the pitch to the.
Yeah, don't forget, Jake. It's the Olympic Stadium. They've still got pole vaults lying around, haven't they? So you could just leap straight over the gap.
You say that about getting suspended, Tom. Did you hear that guy in the Brazilian league after he scored? Was it 93rd minute winner? Wasn't it? And he dropped his he dropped his pants and flashed himself at the crowd after scoring a 97th minute winner, I think it was, in the and they got promoted for it. And he decided to drop drop shorts and underwear and just flash himself to the fans.
That's another thing you wouldn't do on a cold night in Stoke, isn't it?
Yeah. And finally, James, what would you be doing?
It'd either be the old famous Gaza dental chair, like with loads of lager, or it'd be me doing a belly flop along the like the worm, but just the fat version. Do you know what I mean? It'd be like the snail. Call it the snail. Do you know what I mean?
I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that came on and participated, and especially to you, James, because you've been here for an hour and a half. I only thought this was going to be about half an hour, but we've done an hour and a half, so there we go.
Welcome to my world, Jake.
Not quite. Would you? It's not quite 2 hours and 10 minutes, but
no.
There you go. Yeah. Scott says good debate, lads. Cheers, Jake, Peach, James, Tom, and Duke. Right, I'm gonna try and say everybody that came on. So thank you to Tom, to Peach, to Duke, to James, to Andy, to Stel. Is that it?
West Ham Online.
West Ham Online. Yeah. West Ham Online, and I think that's it. I do apologise if I forgot someone. Jesus Christ. So thank you to everyone in the chat as well. Who's in the chat? Isaac, Luke, Legend, Lee. Everybody's been in the chat earlier. Thank you very much. Half terms in about 3 weeks' time, so I've all this time. I could do this again. These debate videos, you know. I could just completely open the lines up and just completely no clue what's going to happen for the next hour. But thank you everyone. Subscribe to West Ham, hit the like button, all of that stuff. And yeah, there you go.
Come on, you guys.
Come on, you guys.
Cheers, lads.